Hey, yo, it's a Wednesday. Whoa. And we got Marty here for Rumor and Innuendo. It's the final Rumor and Innuendo of 2025. And I'm happy to be here. Not only Marty, but with Mr. Robert Karplus, WD Creative _ ish. Robert, dog on your lap, feeling good? What a Wednesday. Oh, you're muted, my friend.
Oh, what a Wednesday. What a way to end 2025. No place I'd rather be than right here with you all for the year-end awards, which we have still not come up with a name for.
I was going to call it
We,
Roomies. The Roomies? Does that sound good?
Roomy? No, that sounds like we're like living together in an apartment somewhere, like Bert and Ernie. That ain't happening.
You, Bert.
Nope,
Not
we're not doing that.
No.
Nope. We can call them the Endies since it's innuendo. Nope. I don't like it. Just
I don't know.
hey, how about the band you're about to hear, which is that's that thing you do reference. That's what we're doing here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Finest movie ever to take place in the greater Pittsburgh area.
That's right. What a city this place is. I tell you what.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
say
a
hi to
hell
some
of
folks in the chat.
it's a hell of a
Huh?
town.
Want to do that?
Yes. Wanna Breeze says, hello, R and I. I'm pretty sure Robert's pick for best musical performance is Booker T singing Joe Hendry's theme song from last night's NXT.
Oh,
You would think that, except there's no way in hell I watched NXT last night.
forgot it was even on.
Yeah, genuinely had zero clue. I have not known what day of the week it is all week.
Yeah, me
This
either.
this strange middle of the week New Year's Eve situation. Like it's a Wednesday, which even better because you don't have the song queued up, so we're good. Devin Dowling says, "Ayo."
Hey yo, Devin.
Willie Thornbrew says it's Wednesday, and you know what that means? Happy New Year.
Ooh, yes.
Wrestling Old Head says, good after morning, R&I. Really curious what everyone's favorite wrestling moment and match of the year is. Very polarizing year all around. This was a very strange year to kind of look back on. I did this exercise a little bit with Scott Chaplin over on Working Stiff, and we had a litany of categories, some more serious than others, some slightly goofier, remnants of Dan St. Germain's overall list. But it's like looking back on this year, I really feel like the biggest story of the year was swings and misses, primarily due to injury. You know, they laid down plans. There was long-term booking, which is something for years wrestling fans never thought we were going to get to see. And they built these overarching arcs that got derailed because of significant injuries. I think Seth Rollins going down for an injury is something that's impacted the latter half of 2025 and most likely the first half of 2026. AEW losing Will Ospreay, AEW losing Kenny Omega, AEW losing MJF, AEW losing Swerve Strickland. It's been a Rhea Ripley on the shelf for a little while over the course of the year. Bianca Belair still on the shelf. A lot of the big names who we thought we were going to get a lot of in 2025, for one reason or another, wound up being sidelined.
That's a great point. There was a lot of aspects of wrestling from storylines and what the direction of companies were going harbored due to injuries. It was a crazy year to really kind of consider all that. But yeah, I do think Wrestling Holder is right. This was a very polarizing year, I think, for pro wrestling in general. I was trying to think. One of the categories obviously is like the pay-per-view or event of the year. And I was having a hard time really deciding on what really stood out to me. And I think I just have to settle on one that you guys have talked about on Working Stiff. But maybe we'll hit the categories here. What I did for this year, actually, since it got so much buzz, was that Sports Illustrated Awards. So I took the categories from them, considering the majority of those awards all went to AEW. And
Sports Illustrated has gone from a publication that had tremendous pro wrestling coverage, courtesy of Justin Barrasso. When he left, it became very much so a joke. And that's why Becky Lynch constantly references, well, Sports Illustrated said so, because Sports Illustrated has less credibility than, your good friend Sean Ross Sapp.
Well, I
Kidding, we
do.
love John Rossett.
And I love a couple of the people too at Sports Illustrated, Zach Haydorn and Rich Chino. So shout out to them. But yes, and
No,
I could get word.
but Sports Illustrated is not Sports Illustrated the way that it used.
Sure.
You're not
Mhm.
getting a mobile phone anymore. They're not a publication. I'm now getting my own echo in your headset there, dude.
Very strange. I don't know why that's
Just
going on.
our Warner Breeze asked, "What is the 2025 Damn It Dom of the year?" Boy, it's hard to pick. I mean, that's like picking your favorite blade of grass.
Did this get any better, the audio, Robert? As
No.
I don't know what's.
Um,
Hmm.
but that's what we're on. Devin Dowling already says his match of the year was QT Marshall versus Paul Walter Hauser at Fight Without Honor.
That wasn't a bad match, to be honest.
Look, any match with QT Marshall was going to be a grand slam home run. If it wasn't for the fact that QT versus MJF took place last December, it would have been my match of the year for 2025.
There you go. All right. Well, let's hit these categories here. I have them lined up in the notes. Storyline of the year, Robert. What was the storyline of the year for you in 2025?
When we look back on 2025 in 1, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to be one thing and one thing only, which was this was the year of the retirement of John Cena. And everything that occurred from Royal Rumble up until the last Saturday night's main event in the WWE side of things was singularly decided by what was going on with John Cena. So I would say storyline of the year, good, bad, and indifferent, was the John Cena retirement. The announcement, him not winning the Royal Rumble, which set off the Jey Uso component. Obviously, his turn at Elimination Chamber, that WrestleMania main event finish, and the non-appearance of The Rock, the Travis Scott factor, the Cena heel turn through Europe with that little kid crying, which was just absolutely fantastic. The unique twist on matches that we got, where you knew you were going to get one more Randy Orton John Cena, you were going to get one more John Cena CM Punk, but one more John Cena AJ Styles, but getting them where it's heel John Cena versus babyface Orton, babyface Punk, babyface Cody, made it feel like a fresh paint of coat.
It did. I'm with you too. Storyline of the year has to be John Cena's farewell tour. I think that really everybody was the build to who was his final opponent was gonna be, where it was gonna take place at, and how they were gonna get to there. I think it just and yeah, the wild road that it took from the heel turn to turning back babyface at SummerSlam, just a lot of different aspects. So yeah, good, better, and different. Storyline of the year was John Cena, and I think ultimately it was better than anything else. So this leads to the other one, which I think is going to be both of ours, but maybe not. Heel turn of the year,
I guarantee you it's not. So I'm curious what you got.
John Cena. Good, better, and different, right? Kind of what I feel about it.
I'm gonna say that the heel turn of the year was Braun Breaker taking out Seth Rollins. And I know
Oh,
it's a heel on a heel situation, so it's a hat on a hat, but with the Seth Rollins injury taking place when it did, and the questions of what's going to happen with the Vision, the fact that WWE made this bold decision and said, we're going to go with Braun Breaker now. We're not going to wait 6 months. We're not going to wait a year. We're not going to wait 5 years. It's Braun Breaker right now, full steam ahead. He is, for all intents and purposes, the number one heel on Monday Night Raw. I think that heel turn moment where he speared Seth Rollins is either going to be the documentary moment of here's where Braun Breaker transcended and became a main eventer, or the moment of WWE's hubris blew a once in a generation star.
wow. Yeah, I mean, could be a big pivotal moment for sure. And that's a great one to think about too, because when he did that, it was like, ooh, tide might be shifting here. We got a new star on the horizon. So I'll be about to follow through with that. Best on the mic, Robert. Who you got for 2025?
Obviously, it's Dominic D'Angelo, and I'm sorry, Dominic Mysterio. Dominic
Oh,
Mysterio, best on the microphone, not the tiny mic that you use sometimes. That no, not your man on the street, Al Roker nonsense. Dominic Mysterio is so good on the microphone, where looking at it from a creative standpoint, you've got a guy who, no matter what verbiage you give him, no matter what the storyline is, no matter what the plot points are, he's going to deliver it and he's going to hit a home run. I was at WrestleMania when he won that Intercontinental title, and that crowd went banana for him.
Yes.
They cheered him like the biggest babyface ever, and you're going, they're never going to be able to get the toothpaste back in the tube. He's never going to be heel again. And Dom talked them into, I'm still a heel. The promo that he delivered to AAA, where he was mad at them for throwing coins at him. And it was both, stop throwing coins at me, you're injuring performers. And if you're going to throw anything, throw paper money, because that's what I want. To that last promo he delivered with John Cena, where even Cena was like, all right, this kid is going to make me work for it. I think Dominic Mysterio is someone who already is demonstrating why he is an MVP of the company.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on this one too. Best on the mic is Dom Mysterio, no doubt. And yeah, you think about even some of the interviews that he did with media outlets like ESPN and stuff like that. He kept kayfabe about hating his dad still. He just elevated it to another game where it's just like Dom is right in the thick of the action of being a big name star. And, he might not have the physique of a John Cena or anything like that, but he's holding his own and he fits right in because he's such this great heel aspect of them all. So I'm 100% with you on the best on the mic, no doubt. Best in the ring, Robert, for 2025. Who you got?
Obviously, it's LA Knight. Wait, no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh.
I misread that. Will, by God, Osprey,
Hmm.
even though he was sidelined for a portion of the year, he was one of those guys where no matter when his match was going to be on, no matter who his opponent was, no matter how lame the storyline was, you had to tune in to watch the Will Osprey match. And Osprey is a guy who is putting together how to tell the story in the match, and that is incredibly difficult to do. You can be a fantastic athlete. You can be able to pull off all kinds of insane moves, what Dust used to call the flipping moves. You're going to do the humakamana. Uh, but the fact that Will Osprey could tell the story in the ring and still pull off all those moves is really something to behold. Wrestling Old Head said Konosuke Takeshita had a phenomenal
Hmm.
in-ring year.
It's a good one.
I don't think he really had a bad. He's another one. He had a really really fantastic series of matches throughout the year. It's not a bad pick at all to say Takeshita, but it's hard to pick him over Osprey right now. But Takeshita is definitely one of those dudes who's in the rarefied Randy Orton 2.0 mold.
Right. Right.
Who you got, Dom? Who's your in ring guy?
I was leaning. I think I have to lean with you and go Osprey as well, but I do want to tip the cap to somebody like Sami Zayn, who did like really well work with the United States Championship and making that feel like important. And just if you take a look and a gauge of his whole body of work throughout the year, Sammy's another one that I think should be mentioned as well. But from an in ring perspective and what Osprey was able to convey in his matches, I thought was top notch stuff. So I'm with you on Osprey too.
I'll give another shout for this person for being best in ring. Is Io Sky
True.
is someone that no matter who you put her in the ring with, no matter what the situation, no matter how terrible her storyline may be, specifically this Kabuki Warriors nonsense,
Yes.
every match Io was in this year was absolutely remarkable.
Yeah.
The work that they did at Evolution, the work she did at WrestleMania, a lot of those Raws where it was just a random, here's Io versus fill in the blank, and she was going to deliver.
Absolutely. That's a great one too. All right, here's an interesting one. I'm intrigued to get your thoughts on breakout wrestler of the year. Who took that one for you this year?
So this is one where it's going to sound weird that I'm picking this person as a breakout star, but
Uh-oh.
my breakout star this year was Kyle Fletcher. And I say that's
Okay.
weird because he's not a breakout in that we started the year praising Kyle Fletcher. By the end of the year, he has broken out in a sense of he is the guy. And I know we talked about this yesterday, the five tool player, but
hmm
Kyle Fletcher absolutely is a guy that you can strap the rocket to him in 2026, make him one of the signature centerpieces of your company, and nobody's going to question that.
Right. No, it's a definitely a great one too. Mine is going to seem very weird considering he's a long time veteran. My breakout wrestler of the year though is Ricochet for what the work he's been doing as a heel, and just everybody, he felt languid a lot in WWE because of how they utilized him. And I was not familiar with the heel persona of Ricochet as much as I was just the babyface superhero guy. And so him coming into AEW and just making the most of it and making himself feel like a standout star on a product that we argue it can be oversaturated and very confusing. He managed to get through the weeds and stand out as somebody that really is a highlight for the show, I think. So my breakout wrestler is Ricochet.
That's a solid pick. I think what's so funny is going back to the company whose name we will not mention, which if you listen to this week's episode of Something to Wrestle With, Bruce Pritchard talks about his tenure at that locale. And I was the name that they couldn't remember, which is adorable. They were like, well, Kurt was there, and then there was other guy from WWE, was Alex, and then wasn't there a third guy? I don't remember. I'm like, so I texted Comrade, appreciate that. Thank you. Love it. But at that organization, the very first main event we had when it was a one-off show was Ricochet versus Shane Strickland. And yes. I watched a lot of Ricochet matches, and I'm going, oh, this guy's a heel. And they're like, no, he's not a heel. He's the babyface. I was like, no, that dude is a heel. I had laid out a 3-show arc because we did 3 pay-per-view tapings, 3 months of tapings. That was ultimately going to culminate in a babyface Ricochet and Swerve and end with heel Ricochet. And then Ricochet signed with NXT. We only got to do the one-off. But I immediately got the vibe of, I told him, like, Trevor, like, you are a heel. You absolutely have got that to it. So seeing it now, when he first turned, I was like, told you. You absolutely can do it. I don't like the scissors.
No,
anything with stabbing is not my thing. I can't watch Home Alone. I obviously watch Home Alone, but I can't watch the part of Home Alone where he steps on the nail.
Yeah.
I can watch Die Hard and watch like 100 people get machine gunned. It's like, yeah, that's fine. It's something about the that little moment. It's like, nope, not for me.
No, that moment itself, the noise, the sound effect that they have put in there too is not helpful either. Comeback performer of the year. I have one in mind. Who do you got, Robert?
I can't believe I'm giving this person an award because I have waited for this person to no longer be there. It's Jon Moxley.
Wow. Okay.
Jon Moxley, we started the year saying, I don't want this guy on my TV. We had the middle part of the year where we said, I don't want this guy on my TV. We hit fall, and I said, I don't want this guy on my TV. And then somewhere around losing the title, he started putting together this body of work in the ring where it was, oh, this is the guy that we've needed on TV this whole time. And now at the end of the year, I'm going, yeah, let's see where we go with Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. It is. And, I'm curious how they handle him moving forward and that stinking Death Riders angle. So I think that's a good one. Mine, he never really left in a certain way of the wrestling realm, but I'm going to give it to Santana. I think him making the exiting out of AEW and going off on the indie scene, and then, him being signed by TNA, and obviously they had their missteps by not putting the title on him, I don't think, at the appropriate time, but they ultimately did. And I think he made the most of his presence in NXT when he was there, and I think he's caught some eyes. So I think my comeback wrestler of the year is Santana for me.
My runner-up for comeback wrestler of the year, Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
Hogan started the year at that Netflix debut getting booed out of the building.
Yeah.
And the simple act of dying turned people around on him where they're now just like, oh, man, we love Hogan. We got to give him his flowers. He was there. He was hawking beer and he was talking about Trump and it was making people uncomfortable, but he was there. And now that he's, laying on his back looking at the lights one last time, he's now a babyface to people again.
I think that's a fair case to make for him, to be honest. I
Hell of a
do.
comeback for our boy Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm. Tag team of the year. I know who you picked with Scott, but why don't you tell this audience who your tag team of the year is?
It's the by default award. There were so many tag teams this year that really did nothing. You look back at the beginning of the year and now it's you had like the War Raiders were tag champs going into Mania. New Day sort of got lost in the wilderness when that heel turn that should have made them relevant
Yes.
made them even more relevant, which sucks. I'm a big fan of New Day. I've enjoyed Fraxium and DIY and Street Profits, but they've been so inconsistent in being used on TV. I said it's the thrown together Brodito. It's a
Mm-hmm.
group that shouldn't work. They literally just plucked a guy who they didn't have anything for and a guy who was in a stable, who the stable is no longer a thing. And they married him together. And every time they're in the ring, it's an absolute delight.
They're a blast. Yeah, the unlikely bedfellows or strange bedfellows tag team. I'm always a kind of a fan of, or a little suspicious of sometimes too. But this one really worked, I think, with those guys.
Dude, I like Head Cheese.
Head Cheese was amazing.
It was
Seriously.
hilarious because sometimes they when they did the same with Booker and Goldust.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sometimes when you put guys together who shouldn't be a duo, they
Mm-hmm.
find a way to make it work. Jericho did that a couple times.
Yeah, he did.
His stuff with Big Show, his stuff with Miz, his stuff with Edge. Jericho found ways to just, no matter who you put him with, it worked until he went to AEW. And then every single person he went with drowned at the bottom of the ocean.
Well, speaking of Jericho and those Attitude Era stars, my tag team of the year is the Hardys. I think they put TNA back on the map in a lot of ways, made them feel like a big deal. And I think just positioned them in the right way. I think they were help get a big facilitator for the AMC deal too. The Hardys are just a recognizable name. So congrats to Matt and Jeff. I think that's awesome.
I think that's a great pick. I think that they've turned things around. They were being squandered
Mm-hmm.
in AEW to some extent. It's I always joke with folks who leave AEW. It's a lot like the Simpsons joke with the monkey paw, where Homer gets the monkey's paw and wreaks havoc on the world accidentally. As soon as Flanders gets it, everything's great and wonderful. It's like once they're out of Tony Khan's grasp, a lot of guys find ways to shine, and the Hardys became bigger stars in TNA than they were in AEW.
Absolutely, 100%, and positioned in the right manner too, for sure. Match of the year, Robert. What's your match of 2025?
I'm going to go with AJ Styles and John Cena. I think that's a pretty popular choice amongst a lot of people. I think that the storytelling elements, the what felt like the wrestling version of that Jimmy Fallon sketch, The History of Dance,
Mm-hmm.
where we do a little bit of everything. We do so many different tributes, and it should have been cheesy. It should have been schlocky. It never should have worked, and it did. The emotional moment with the Fireflies and the Bray Wyatt tribute, the ring entrance, and the fact that he sprung that on AJ turning back the clock and reminding people, not that they need much reminding, that it doesn't matter how old this dude is, he's still probably one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world. And him and Cena left it all out there. Crowd went nuts for it. It was just an absolute delight. And if I had to pick a match to go back and rewatch from this year, it's going to be that.
That's a great choice. I think it definitely is. I will go with a different Cena match. It was Dom versus John Cena was my match of the year, just because of the unexpected win for Cena to get that Intercontinental Championship, but then just that what you were talking about, the promo where Dom held his own against Cena, and then it turns into like a great unexpected match. I thought the crowd really added to it, and just the atmosphere of knowing this is Cena's last year, and here he got the Intercontinental Championship too on top of it all.
So Wrestling Old Head brings up a good pick. He loved Rhea, Bianca, and Io.
Yes.
So that match was at WrestleMania. And I think part of the reason that didn't become my match of the year is because I watched it live in the building. while the match was incredible and the crowd took that ride and they enjoyed it, I didn't get the full presentation. I didn't get the commentary. I didn't see the angles that the camera was shooting. And I haven't gone back and rewatched it, which is really on me. I should go back and rewatch that match. But live over 2 days, that was the match everybody was talking about. It was really remarkable. My other honorable mention would be the Gabe Kidd Kenny Omega match that started the year at Wrestle Kingdom. That was one where Scott Chapman was blowing up my phone at 5 o'clock in the morning being like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. I'm like, all right, it's a New Japan. I watched it. I was like, oh, this is remarkable. I can't wait to see what Gabe Kidd does this year. And cue, fart noise.
Cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
Yes.
All right. What was your show of the year, Robert?
Rumor and Innuendo.
Hey.
No. My show of the year was Double or Nothing. 2025. That was, it was Hangman and Ospreay in the main event, and I think it was a pivotal moment because they went with Hangman over Ospreay.
Yes,
and I questioned the move at the time. I don't know how much they knew how injured Ospreay may or may not have been. I still don't love the decision to go with Hangman over Ospreay. I thought the match, the card was a lot of fun. That crazy all out match where the Young Bucks and it was a blast. I thought it was a really, really fun show from beginning to end. It was way too long. It needs to be edited down. But from start to finish, it was, in my opinion, the best pay-per-view of the year.
Me too. I was trying to think of some other ones, but like honestly, I was looking at all these other cards and what was happening with them in WWE and AEW, and I was just like, nothing really like hit me as a great, amazing, like 10 out of 10 show. But I think just kind of by default, AEW Double or Nothing kind of delivered it the most.
I really enjoyed, and I'm going to look up the full card because I want to make sure that I hit everything on it. But Crown Jewel in Perth this year was just a really, really fun show. The Bronson Reed Roman Reigns match, crowd really took that ride. Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton was a fun match. Obviously, that was the Cena AJ match. Io and Rhea beating the Kabuki Warriors was a great match. And then the main event was the Seth Rollins Cody match, which was very good with very, very bad long-term ramifications for that company.
Yeah. No, that's a fair one too, I think, for sure. Yeah.
Wrestling Old Head brings up another good point. Said the first and second AAA cards were from top to bottom really fun and reminded me of early AEW. Yeah,
that's a good choice too. I think. And like when that first AAA show happened under the WWE banner, it felt like a big deal. Like it did feel like a big deal.
I mean, Mr. Iguana felt like a breakout star very early on in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, only 3 more we got, and we'll close it out. Female wrestler of the year. Who you got?
This is another kind of by default. Not my favorite, but I think female wrestler of the year was Mercedes Moné simply because her in-ring work was stellar. Her promos were not good, but they put almost every belt in the world on her. It could have been Toni Storm. I just feel like they've taken their foot off the gas with Toni a few times throughout the year. And when she doesn't have a storyline going on, like what we just saw at World's End, she gets lost in the shuffle. Mercedes, good, bad, or indifferent, finds a way to keep herself front and center. And a lot of the stuff she did in ring was very, very good.
Yeah, I think from an in-ring perspective, for sure, I think that would be Mercedes. I think overall, though, from my choice, Becky Lynch. I just think she was able to elevate Lyra Valkyria. She's doing great work with Maxine Dupree. Becky is somebody that could make a return, and you'd be like, oh, it's just Becky. What's next for her? Where are they going to put her in? But she found her own groove with this own, obnoxious kind of heel that she channels Trump in a lot of ways, I think, too, that makes it really more enticing and like wild and stuff. And I just think that she's gotten people over. She's gotten herself over. And that's what you're looking for in a talent. So
you make a great case for it. I'm not going to disagree at all.
Yeah, thank you. Male wrestler of the year. Who is it for you, Robert?
I mean, it's John Cena. It's, again, this was the year of Cena. Cena had probably one of the best matches of the year in that AJ Styles match. He had one of the worst matches of the year, the Cody match at WrestleMania. The heel turn is something that's going to be debated about for decades to come. I'm curious to see the long-term benefit that we wind up getting from Gunther, if at all, from Gunther being the guy to retire John Cena. The Cena heel turn and the memes that came out of that were those aren't going anywhere. Cena's redemption match with Cody, the match itself wound up being very, very good. And like you mentioned, the stuff he did with Dominic Mysterio at the end of his career really elevated Dom.
Yeah, 100% did. I'm with you, John Cena. It's got to be him. Promotion of the year, Robert. We'll close out with this one. What was your promotion of the year?
Promotion of the year, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Hey, no. Well, yes, and it was a blast, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun getting to do that. But this was the year of WWE. WWE debuted on Netflix, which was a seismic moment for the wrestling industry. The just sheer magnitude of what WrestleMania did in Vegas, SummerSlam going to 2 nights, the success of the European tour that they had and doing the show in Paris and how packed it was there. The success of the pay-per-view in Perth, Australia was something to behold. The various superstar interactions with celebrities, the stuff they did with Jelly Roll over the course of the year, Logan Paul being integrated as a week in, week out performer for the company. I think WWE was definitely the company that dominated the stories throughout the year. Acquiring AAA, working with TNA, they're inescapable.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair case for WWE, no doubt about it. My promotion, I will go with what you just said was TNA. I think from them constantly being dead in the water over this course of 20 something years to finally getting a television deal that seems pretty exciting and big. And then what they did at certain pay-per-views, selling out live arenas that felt packed and jam-packed and significant. I just think they were on such an upswing. My promotion of the year goes to TNA for that reason.
Not a bad pick at all. The fact that they revitalized the Hardys, they elevated Joe Hendry to a point where when he came out at WrestleMania, that crowd lost their mind. Like they all knew who Joe Hendry was. They were there for it. We just saw oh my god, I'm blanking on his name at the moment. The kid that team with Javon Evans. Leon Slater.
Leon Slater. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Rounding out there, so they have great young talent. They're revitalizing established talent. They've got this TV deal with AMC, which could be massive. They drew a huge house for that Dudley's Hardys match in New York. It was 8,000 people. It drew more than a lot of the AEW shows. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of momentum with our friends at TNA, and obviously TNA, home of the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling world champion, Steve Macklin.
How about that? And also home of Agent Zero, a.k.a. Bill Collier, who was the IWC champion this past year.
Oh, get your indie crap out of here, Dom. We only talk about top-tier stuff. But fear not. We will not be here tomorrow because it is New Year's Day, and we will be ringing in 2026 with our families. But we will be back on Friday, as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the @SE Scoops X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Podcast Heat, and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the best daily co-host I had in all of 2025, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
It was an honor, Robert. Hey, Marty, let's go back in time.
Shh.